people don't, I think they take for granted time. And sometimes you can be stuck in doing something over and over again, or have the same people around you that you've had in seasons that no longer serve you. And now you still have these people in your ear, in your corner, in your family that are stuck in that season with you that you're no longer in. So now you're moving into a new season. New seasons sometimes require new people. And I know that's scary for some people because it's like, well, I don't know you. I don't know anything about you, but you have to know the mindset of a person. If I know your mindset, I know what I can trust you with. If I know your mindset, I know what direction to deal with you in. And so a lot of people don't go for mindset, they go for money, they go for looks, they go for I call it like the dead fish in the sea. All the dead fish stream downhill. They're all going in the same direction. They don't have a mind of their own. They're doing what the culture does. They don't know how to pivot or shift. And you don't need people in your corner like that. You need people that are going to have a mindset, a steady mindset that's going to be positive, but someone that's going to tell you like it is, some truth. They're going to tell you truth. These people are going to get down to the root of things instead of trying to pacify your emotions. So I think having the right people in your corner is important. And sometimes that means that you have to change the people that are in your corner, and they have to be okay with that. And you have to move on from them.
Just got a follow up question, Precious. So I know you mentioned family, and I think family is important, especially when it comes to women. If there's no father present, then what often happens in traditional families is that they may lean on the family.
Mhm.
Can you just add a little bit more context of where family falls? Because your family has been around you all your life. So
Right.
would you say that they know you best? And if somebody is dealing within a current relationship, just kind of play off that family aspect. Like, can they should you
Um,
see your family then because they've been knowing you your entire life?
your family does know you. Your family is supposed to support you. Your family is supposed to be there for you. And sometimes your family can be a sounding board for you, and sometimes not. I think it's personally important to set boundaries with your family. I personally think that when they're either getting too far in your business, or speaking things that are not conducive to the relationship, and they may have an issue or a problem with the other person. To me, it's like you're doing me more harm than good, but I think you're doing me good because you're my family. How could you steer me in the wrong direction? But at the end of the day, you're the person in that relationship. I always say be real with yourself so you can be real with others. And being real with yourself sometimes means, I know mom got an issue with this. She's always had an issue with this. She always acts this way. She always responds this way. So I can't take it as though this is the person that has an issue when mom has always had that issue. You have to be real with yourself because you also know your family. You know your family. And so you can't always side with them because they're your family. And I think differently about this because I was adopted and in foster care. So I've had a wide range of family. I've had biological family, family that's not mine, family that, it's like God showed me that you have family, but there are friends who are family. They have been there for you when your family has not. They step in the gap, intercessory. And so sometimes your family don't have it all together. They don't have all the answers. And you have to be knowledge, you have to be open enough to be aware of that. And it's not a dig at your family. It's hey family, I respect you, but I have to live my life. We all do. But I respect you. But this is a boundary you're not gonna cross. I'm not gonna allow you to cross that boundary. You have lived your life. You married. You got your man. You got this. You got that. And you have done it your way. Now it's time to, you know what I mean? I know you love me, mom and dad, but I'll be okay. And when I need you, I'll tell you. I'll ask.
Okay. Cookie, I'm gonna go to you. What is your definition of a good man?
I'm not really a list person, um, but I would say the definition of a good man is any man willing to sacrifice to keep the family whole. Um, to keep the family protected and to keep the family provided for. And that comes on many different levels for me. So um, it's very simple. You have to find somebody that fits your narrative and you fit his. So I look at love and relationships a little bit more simply than you have to do this, be in this. Like that, I've never been that person. So it's about how you make me feel when I'm around you. So I feel like any good man will make you feel like the feminine woman that most men are, well, some men are out here to seek.
All right. And then Samantha Lee, what are your thoughts about the people that speak to you in your most emotional moments?
I feel like in your most emotional moments, you should find the most unbiased humans possible. And I say that because bias is the end all be all to most relationships. You find somebody, yeah, girl, the dump him, girl, dump him. Like you said, like Precious said, misery loves company. So I feel like number one of the first people you should go to when you're emotional is your therapist. If you're feeling some type of way, they're not going to pick a side. Um, and you explain the situation, and they'll tell you whether you were right or wrong. First, second, other people that speak to you are probably should be people that know both parties. I do believe that um, if you have the wrong circle of people speaking to you, especially while you're emotional, like if my little sister comes up and she's crying about a guy, I'm automatically, what did he do? I mean, that's just the way that I am. You know, I'm not going to ask her what he did. I don't care. She's already crying. And that's not necessarily fair. That's not necessarily fair to the guy. So, in all reality, you need to just find an unbiased. You know how alcoholics go to AA meetings and everybody's non judgmental and everybody's sharing their stories? It should be the same for relationships. You should find a pod of people that does not include your family members to go to that have equal relationships with both people. And I think that's where you'll get um, the fair judgment. If you're always migrating towards people closer to you, they're always going to lead you down a path of failure. And but it's not on purpose. Sometimes it is on purpose, but it's not on purpose. It's just like, I mean, they love you. They're looking out, they feel like they're looking out. But in reality, you're being emotional and dramatic and they don't know the whole story. You know, there's always one side, two sides, and then the truth. And you should seek out people that are going to tell you the truth.
Yeah. And just to piggyback off a little bit of what you said, I think it's important for you to vet your counsel as well. Um, Even if your counsel is family, even if they are somebody that's an outside third party source through your insurance, you got to vet them. You got to do your homework and your research because sometimes you can have some people that they only think one way, but you wouldn't know because it's your first time. And when you receive an information, it may come off as though they're giving you some solid information. If they never told you anything that went against what you're saying, that might be a red flag. So your counsel can have red flags as well. If they never told you anything that where it looks like there was balance, then you have to tell yourself that I don't want to be around that person because it's a possibility that you may be wrong and you will never know because that person fully supports you. And that's why we always bring up sometimes it's hard for family to really digest the truth of the matter because they're pro you. You know, I can honestly say that my mother, for the most part, is pro me. I could never do any wrong. So
Exactly.
I wouldn't go to her in order to get some counsel. Like one of my best friends, well, probably the only best friend out of everybody, I respect him. And y'all may have heard me speak about him is because he tell me the truth no matter what. I know my shit stinks sometimes, and I know I'm not perfect, but I need that balance because how else am I going to grow as an individual if I'm not receiving some solid insight as far as how my mind is thinking? because now one of us is perfect. If you sit and think that you perfect, I don't care how much education you have, how much experience, how much background, there has come a time where you have been wrong more than you think. And you
Hmm.
would never know if you don't counter that with something that's gonna balance it out. So sometimes your family, your friends, the closest one, because they want to see you doing good. And if they see you hurt, they're only giving you insight based off their hurt. I would be surprised if your counsel would say, well, let me speak to him. Let me speak to her. Let me hear their side of it. But even still, then they can hear your side and they can disregard everything that you're saying. So it's like one of those things. It's like you got to apply a little bit more logic even after receiving information. Sometimes you don't. Conversations don't require a response right there in the moment. You got to let it marinate, sit on it a little bit. Maybe go and seek. I always tell anybody anytime a professional diagnose you, go get a second opinion. Even
Hmm.
even if they got to charge your insurance twice, at least you know you're going up in the right direction. Sometimes the insurance might got to get charged 3 times. Or sometimes you may got, if you're an entrepreneur, you may got to come out of pocket and pay $300 times 2.